And here is the Writer's Almanac for Monday. It's the 4th of January, 2021. It's the birthday of the historian Doris Kearns Goodwin, born in Brooklyn, 1943, author of best-selling books on Lincoln, Lyndon B. Johnson, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Grew up a fan of the Brooklyn Dodgers. Her father taught her how to keep score. Wrote a memoir about it, Wait Till Next Year, Summer Afternoons with My Father and Baseball. She met President Johnson when she was 24 years old. She was a White House fellow. He took a liking to her, showed her his papers, and she wrote the book Lyndon Johnson and the American Dream. Her favorite of all her books was No Ordinary Time, Franklin and Eleanor Roosevelt, the Home Front in World War II. It's the birthday of the man who said truth is ever to be found in simplicity and not in the multiplicity and confusion of things. Sir Isaac Newton, born Woolsthorpe, England, 1643, who in 1686 published his Principia, which overturned nearly everything humankind had believed about the universe up to that point. He proved that the celestial bodies were governed by the same laws of physics as objects on Earth. He incorporated Kepler's laws of planetary motion into his own theories about gravity and established the three laws of motion. The first stating that objects at rest tend to remain at rest. Objects in motion tend to remain in motion unless they're acted upon by an external force. The second law states that an applied force on an object equals the rate of change of its momentum with time. And the third law states that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Isaac Newton said, I don't know what I may appear to the world, but to myself I seem to have been only like a boy playing on the seashore and diverting myself and now and then finding a smoother pebble or a prettier shell than ordinary, whilst the great ocean of truth lay all undiscovered before me. And it was on this date, 1935, that Bob Hope began his broadcasting career as the host of a show called The Intimate Review. It was sponsored by Bromo Seltzer, was on the NBC network. Bob Hope sang, he danced, he told jokes, but it was a studio show. There was no audience, and it was canceled after 13 weeks. His big success was 3 years later on a show called The Pepsodent Show, which was in front of an audience. He opened the show with a monologue, and his career went on for about 60 years after that. Here's a poem for today by Tony Hoagland entitled Field Guide. Once in the cool blue middle of a lake, up to my neck in that most precious element of all, I found a pale gray, curled upwards pigeon feather floating on the tension of the water. At the very instant when a dragonfly, like a blue-green iridescent bobby pin, hovered over it, then lit and rested. That's all. I mention this in the same way that I fold the corner of a page in certain library books so that the next reader will know where to look for the good parts. Field Guide, a poem by Tony Hoagland from Unincorporated Persons in the Late Honda Dynasty, published by Grey Wolf Press and used by permission here on the Writer's Almanac. Funded by donations from listeners like you, now available on PRX for distribution by your local radio station. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.